It's 8 a.m. Live, local, your Fox 29 Morning News starts now.
For several years now, Floridians have been trying to get out of some bad housing situations. Thousands of folks have done short sales or they've been foreclosed. You'd think that once the deal is done, you're in the clear and you can move on with your life. But for many, that simply has not been the case. Instead, they find themselves being pursued by the bank for something called a deficiency judgment. Author and attorney Shari Olefson is joining us now to tell us more about this. Shari, good morning and thank you for being here.
Sure, it's my pleasure,
Let's
John.
start right with that big word. What is, or two big words, deficiency judgment? What is that?
Well, this actually goes back to the closing table. When you bought your home, remember you signed a bunch of documents. The two most important are, number one, a promissory note or a note, which is essentially an IOU from you to the bank. It explains how much you're borrowing and how you're going to repay it. The second most important document, though, is actually a document called a mortgage, and that gets recorded in the public records. It creates a lien on your property. That's the collateral to make sure you pay back the IOU. It would be like, I'll loan you $10 if I can hold your TV. The mortgage is the TV. Okay. So those two documents give the lender two sets of rights. If you don't pay, they can foreclose on that mortgage document, take back your home to pay back the money you owe on that IOU document. But if there's not enough money to pay it all back, then you have a deficiency.
All right, that's a very good simplification of a very long process and lots of paperwork.
Here it's been taking 2 or 3 years, that process.
That's right. What laws do the banks have to follow?
Well, first of all, it's actually after your foreclosure sale that this kicks in. Most people think, oh, the foreclosure sale's done, I'm free from this now. But the bank actually goes into the courthouse again and asks the judge for this deficiency judgment. They then have up to 5 years to prosecute it.
Wow.
And if they get that, then they have up to 20 years to collect it. So people need to remember, after about a year, you can go into the courthouse and tell the judge to prohibit the bank from doing that for what's called failure to prosecute.
Okay, so you're not in the clear for a few years. Don't fool yourself. How do banks decide to go after you or not go after you?
Nowadays, if you have money, they probably will try to get it. So one of the things they look to is your original loan application. If you got a modification or a refinance, part of that process is that you have to fill out new financial paperwork, so they'll look there. If you have assets, they're going to want them.
Wow, what if you don't have a whole lot of money? What are your options there?
Well, in most cases, they will agree to release you. But here's where people need to protect themselves. If you're going to be doing a short sale or a deed in lieu, you want to make sure that you negotiate the release from that deficiency judgment, because these are ticking financial time bombs. Really important. The other thing is there are some income streams that are exempt, unemployment, disability benefits, that type of thing. And you really want to make sure we've got something called the Mortgage Debt Forgiveness Relief Act that actually expires at the end of this year. It may be extended, but what that means is without that act, you actually have to pay income tax on the money that the bank forgives. So you want to keep an eye open. If you can negotiate this before the end of the year, great.
It's a lot to absorb. But hopefully a lot of folks had their ears on and listened to everything you had to say.
The thing is, John, when you're done with a foreclosure, you want to really be done. And unless you take care of this deficiency judgment, you are not.
Right. Good point. All right. We'll see you next time.
Sure,
Thank you for the explanation. Lauren, back over to you.